What we sometimes fail to remember is what they can teach us if we would just take the time to look at the world through their eyes. We see things in the world, we see things in a different way when we're children, when everything is new to us. Children are fascinated by the everyday things. As adults, we don't even notice anymore. A couple years ago, when Thana was about 4, she had this weird interest in water towers. We'd be driving down the road, minding our own business, and this little voice would yell, "Water tower!" from the back seat. Even if the thing was half a mile away, she'd see it and become excited, while we didn't even take the time to notice it was there. For us, water towers are just something that exists, but not that we ever think about. We know that's where our clean water supply comes from, and we know that there are people in this world that don't have the benefit of clean drinking water. But generally, we don't stop to be grateful or thankful that we are some of the lucky ones. For Thana, who didn't fully understand the concept of what the water tower was, or why it was there, had a far greater appreciation for it than we did. As adults, we often get so caught up in the things we have to do that we forget the things that we want to do. We don't always have time to stop and smell the roses, to notice when we see something new, and to appreciate the wonders that happen around us every day. When we finish work on a rainy day, we're too busy thinking about what we're going to make for dinner, or even what we're going to watch on television that evening, to take the time to splash in the puddles on the way to the car. Children can't wait to learn new things. When they're really small, they look forward to the day they start kindergarten and get on the bus with all of the big kids, meet their teacher, and learn everything they could ever need to know about the big, wide world around them. And they're always learning. I'm constantly amazed by the things my girls know that I cannot explain how they learned. They watch everything that happens, and they learn from it, even when I'd rather they didn't. Grown-ups tend to be concerned with the things they already know than learning new things. More to the point, we allow the things we think we know to cast a shadow over the things we could learn if only we would keep an open mind. We've built up preconceived notions and prejudices over the years, and we learn to filter the information we receive, and twist it to fit our own purposes, to fit our own opinions. Kids aren't like that. We aren't born with these preconceived notions and prejudices, nor are we born with our agendas. When we're small, we take in all the information available for us, and we use it to form our own ideas and opinions. That's not to say the opinions of parents don't have influence over the opinions of a child. Children are by nature trusting, and when they're very small, live under the impression that their parents have been around forever and know everything and that we're perfect. This is one of the important things we have to remember as adults, that the things we say and do affect the way our children see the world. And while it's important that we influence them in some ways, we have to be careful with how we do this. As UUs, we're probably better at this than people of some other religions because our basic premise is that we respect the opinions and feelings of others. But we still have a tendency to project our opinions and feelings on our children, and especially as UUs, we have to be careful of this. We're trying to raise our children to be open-minded, open-hearted adults. We live in the Bible Belt, and sometimes our children come home from school where they've been told something from one of the other children about God, and they ask us about God. If we're truly open-minded, we can share our opinions with them, but we should remember to state these things, not to state these things to our children as facts, so that we can leave the door open for them to form their own feelings. Of course, my hope would be that my children don't grow up to join the Bible-thumping brigade and run around preaching about sin, but I also have to respect the fact they are humans and entitled to their own opinions so long as they don't force them on anyone else. Because of this, the best example I can set is not to force my opinions on them. When they ask me about God, my answer starts with, "I think," and ends with, "What do you think?" Children are trusting, and when we tell them something, they believe it. When a grown-up gives them information, or even when another child gives them information, they don't scrutinize it as closely as we do. I was raised with Bible stories, and it wasn't until I was older that I started questioning which ones were true, or even whether they were literal. Not that I would change the fact that I learned to question things. I hope my children learn to question things rather than to accept all the things they were told on blind faith. However, their trust can be valuable too. Of course, occasionally, they will trust the wrong person. For instance, some boy will almost surely break their hearts, but they will learn from it and become stronger. If they don't put themselves out there and trust people once in a while, they will miss out on priceless experiences. Often, adults learn too well from the times they have been hurt and don't trust others enough to take chances. We're too afraid of getting hurt again to take risks, and we miss opportunities. Children feel things completely and totally. They know no middle ground, everything is black and white, and an argument with a friend over something we find trivial will cause a friendship to end, temporarily. I always laugh when there's an event at school in the evening and my little one sees her friends. They yell each other's names and run and hug as if they haven't seen each other in a month. Never mind the fact they've just spent 6 hours together. They're so uncontrollably excited to see each other they can't contain themselves. A child's emotions run to extreme. For those of us who are parents, we've probably heard when we tell our children they can't have something they want, that it's unfair. We're the worst mother or father in the entire world, and they will never, ever forgive us or speak to us again. Never, ever, until the end of time. The end of time usually comes about 10 minutes later. Even as teenagers, children still feel this way.